If you have attended to the subjects of this lesson just before trial, then you and your attorney should both be ready. You have reviewed the technical elements in the case. You have refreshed your memory about everything you have written and thought about the case. You have refreshed your attorney's memory or clarified his understanding of the technical elements of the case so he can better cross-examine the other expert. You have discussed the likely questions that he is going to ask you during direct examination, and you can prepare for the best possible answers. You have also discussed the likely attacks on you and your opinions that may come from the other side, and you have discussed the best ways to respond to those attacks. From time to time, you will be involved in large or complex cases, and you may be only one of several experts hired to testify to different elements of the case. It will be important to discuss the scope of each expert's testimony with the other experts and with your attorney or attorneys. Although each person's testimony will usually be specialized and hopefully not overlapping with yours, they can easily overlap in certain technical content areas. You want to be clear about who is responsible for testifying about which subjects, and everybody's testimony needs to be consistent in terms of the overall presentation of the case. Opposing attorneys will often ask similar questions of multiple experts in a case to impeach or undermine experts because of contradictions in what they say. Your preparations should also have included the writing of a set of principal questions for your attorney's use during your direct examination. In all likelihood, he will merge some of your questions and replace others with questions and phraseology of his own choosing. In any event, you will have ensured that everything you can think of regarding the science and the foundation of your opinions is brought out during questioning. In addition, this final review should include your writing of a series of suggested questions dealing with the technical elements of the other experts' opinions. These should include any questions that might address the other expert's uncertainty or weakness, or that bear on his methodology, chosen logic, and final opinions. Now, as far as practicing for testimony at a trial, you should give thought to the ways in which you will express your answers to your attorney's direct examination questions, as well as the questions that may come during cross-examination. You should run through a simple rehearsal with your attorney in which you verbalize answers to all expected questions to get his thoughts on what you have to say or how you're saying it. Even if your attorney doesn't fully understand the technology or science behind your answers, it will still be instructive to get his feedback about your choice of words, right down to occasional use of adjectives. Preparation in a practice session does not mean that you have to memorize anything. You should already know the details of the case and the content of your own investigation. Practicing your answers to probable questions will be invaluable to you and your retaining attorney. You may be surprised at how incisive his suggestions can be when it comes to how the opposing attorney might treat your use of seemingly simple and innocuous phraseology. I mentioned earlier that's what they're taught to focus on and do in testimonial settings. This kind of feedback can happen with any practice session that you have with your attorney. However, if a deposition, for instance, is going to be videotaped, it becomes even more necessary that you practice with your attorney in advance using a video camera. At least, this may enable you to notice annoying physical mannerisms that may be unconscious, yet easily eliminated before you offer testimony in a trial. At most, your attorney will be able to review your answers with you and coach you directly on the reasons why particular phraseology or delivery of answers is wrong, ineffective, or worse still, harmful to his legal case. Here are some additional suggestions that I can give you regarding videotaped depositions. You should dress conservatively, avoiding any flashy jewelry. You should also avoid excessively long pauses, and you should avoid eating or drinking while being videotaped. And a key tactic to think about is that in order to prevent your voice from being drowned out by electronic noise, don't touch any microphone that might be near or in front of you. Some cases may be particularly complicated, and your testimony may be longer than a day. Additionally, some cases may have a significant sum of money attached to the outcome. In these situations, attorneys will advise that you participate in a mock trial. This will be a live exercise with you and a couple of attorneys, probably from the same law firm that hired you. Usually, your attorney will practice the direct examination questions with you, and then the other attorney will practice the cross-examination questions with you. This permits your attorney to object as necessary during the process and allows you to become more comfortable with your own retaining attorney, as well as the interplay process. Especially if you are not that experienced, this process will provide you the experience of hearing the sorts of questions that you may be asked. It will also give you an opportunity to recognize the style of questioning to which you may be subjected during the real trial. It will also allow you an opportunity to develop a sense of assuredness and calmness in responding to questions, which will help you to maintain your composure. It will also help your attorneys to give you valuable feedback about your answers and the delivery of them. Remember, you are not an attorney. You will not even recognize all the legal implications that the words in your answers can have. You will not recognize all the tactics, goals, and benefits to the other attorney of every poor response you might give. I addressed several of these in Lesson 7 on psychology and tactics. I'll delve into successful testifying at trial more fully in the next lesson, and I will concentrate on cross-examination questions and strategies in the final lesson 12. For now, just realize that your attorney knows the legal dangers from questions you will hear, so ask him for his coaching help in advance. Find out from him which answers can be improved and make sure you understand why. Find out from him what trap questions you may hear and ask him for suggestions about the best ways to circumvent or avoid them. My experience will help guide you around the general boulders in your path, but his experience will guide you around the specific obstacles to success in his and your specific case.